This video is sponsored by NordVPN.
It's 2026, and as with any new year, it feels like a fresh start, making changes and optimizations to live your life just that bit better. But I got a bit of a head start late last year and tried something that the world has seemingly gone mad for: the concept of decentralizing my smartphone. It's been well over 90 days now, and I want to discuss my experience here because it didn't quite go as I expected it to. So let's talk about that. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and the idea of decentralizing your phone comes from the fact that these days hundreds of millions, if not billions of people use their smartphones for everything. Watching TV, taking photos and videos, playing games, writing, editing, making big purchases, on top of the obvious communication. People are locked into their smartphones. It never used to be this way, of course. I didn't grow up with smartphones at a very young age, and I can remember having, a family camera, a games console, a TV, a desktop computer, a laptop even, select tools for individual jobs. Phones were good for calling, texting, even emails eventually, and they could take pictures, but they weren't really good at it. But they didn't really go beyond any of that. More on this after a quick word from today's sponsor.
One of the most convenient and handy inventions of the last few years is certainly a VPN, and that's where this video's sponsor NordVPN comes in. Not only does this service help you browse anonymously, tunneling your network traffic through another region which helps secure your connection, but it's also just really handy for watching programs, movies and sports that you just wouldn't get in your home version of Netflix, for example. Or if, like me, you're a die-hard Premier League fanatic and you go on holiday, being able to log into your streaming services just as you normally would without a fuss is brilliant, and NordVPN allows you to do that. It works on Mac, Windows, iOS and our beloved Android. It's easy to install and get set up. If you go to nordvpn.com/androidpolice, you'll get up to 77% off a 2-year plan and 4 months extra for free. So check that link out in the video description, and a big thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring today's content.
Interestingly, many today don't even own a laptop or a computer. Instead, they do absolutely everything on their smartphones. And whether it be due to burnout, a sense of feeling too locked on with their phone, or just trying to escape the always online world, recent years have seen a trend of people decentralizing their phone. And that's what I did, but I didn't really do it on purpose. I have a Galaxy S25 Edge, a pretty high-end phone to start with, but what kickstarted my desire to break away was actually the fact that many smartphones just apply so much processing to their camera apps, and I wanted to feel more intentional with the way I was taking photos, as someone who loves taking photos. I started carrying around my little Sony RX100 with me. The image quality is good, sure, and in RAW I can always spend time editing photos if I wanted to, but I could have really done this with a smartphone. What this really was more intentional in the feeling of the physical haptic feedback, the little noises, the little viewfinder, there not being any kind of AI or suggestions on the screen, the dials, the buttons. It's not the solution for everyone, and I totally get that. It's nowhere near as convenient as using my smartphone. But I will always have the camera on here if I need to take a quick photo or a picture of some instructions or navigation or anything like that. I'm still going to have that opportunity, but for stuff where I just want to go a little bit more in depth with my photo taking, I don't have to rely on my smartphone. Any major changes I make to my photos, be that in Lightroom or whatever other software, I am making myself consciously, not an AI black box, not an abstract algorithm, and that's been refreshing more than anything else, and it's something I've really enjoyed. A small change that made actually a massive difference was uninstalling Twitter and Instagram. I made this change really early in 2025, so it's been about a year now. I'm logged in on my computer, I still have my accounts, but it means I can't accidentally start doom scrolling during the day. I have to make a conscious effort to walk upstairs and go to the computer and then log in. It keeps me off of my phone, and though maybe it's the least substantial on paper, in reality it's made the biggest difference to myself, I think, my life. I've also spent more time writing notes and tick lists on physical pieces of paper and notebooks versus using stuff like TickTick or Google Tasks. Is this worse for the environment? Probably, but is it better for the mental health? I don't know, could be as well. I actually find myself checking the information, checking my lists and making sure I get more stuff done when I have those physical versions in front of me on my desk and not having that stuff tucked away in an application on my smartphone. And my forgetful mind has been less of a hindrance since I started doing this about 6 months ago. I've never been the biggest mobile gamer in that I don't sweat esports titles, I don't grind games like Genshin Impact on my smartphone. I've typically been more into the casual titles, the Project Drifts, the Project Offroad, Real Racing 3, Hill Climb Racing, a golf battle as well, more time sinkers than anything else. And a lot of those games have daily challenges which lured me in every morning, but I've stopped playing any of these and actually just picked up my quality games on my old handhelds. The Steam Deck is fantastic and a great option for those bigger games, but it's also, if you have one you know this, not very portable. So I've picked up my PSP, my Vita, my 3DS. Not only are these great ways to play actually high quality games, some nostalgic ones even, and some I never actually got around to trying until recently actually, but you also have another case of the tactility, not being tethered to the internet, not being flooded with ads, no battle passes or piecemeal drip-fed content just to keep you staying online and being logged in. It's a breath of fresh air. Sure, the games aren't free, and if you order online, obviously you have to wait for those to come in the mail instead of just going on the Play Store and instantly hitting download. But that's just another positive layer, in my opinion, of friction between you and wasting time on your phone, even without realizing it. Because the truth is, it is so easy to just accidentally waste lots of time, a serious amount, glued to your smartphone screen. You unlock it to check one thing and then you kind of get lured into another app or a game and it's been 20 minutes before you even know it. And that's coming from someone who doesn't watch short form video. I've never really watched TikTok or Reels or YouTube Shorts, and I can't even begin to imagine how much time I'd waste if I was into those as well. Most of my YouTube is consumed on my TV screen or in podcast form on my computer, mostly from the likes of sports fan channels, video essays, videos from creators that I already follow or subscribe to and am a fan of, instead of mindlessly clicking all of these new recommended videos from channels I've never heard of before. These blocks of time add up in the day and they can make a big dent in what is otherwise quite a productive time. I've spent more time doing things I deem more important or maybe just more fulfilling to me in this time. I've spent more time out in nature, even in the less optimal weather conditions we find ourselves in right now. I've watched more films in the last 90 days than I've watched in the last 10 years combined. I've enjoyed so many games that I had laying around and never really thought to pick up because I didn't feel like I had time. I feel more energetic, more alert, more engaged with reality, and ultimately I feel a lot happier because I'm not constantly reading world news, being sucked into the online world, and it's had a major impact on my life. Look, I haven't completely avoided this thing altogether. The cameras, they're really handy for those quick moments. I still talk to my friends and family through WhatsApp and Discord on my mobile, and I listen to podcasts and music through my wireless earphones when I'm out for a walk or when I'm running or cycling. I haven't completely abandoned my smartphone, but I have become a lot less reliant on it. Decentralizing my phone has made me feel more real, more alive, and the fact that each thing has to be more intentional saves me time by not luring me into the online world. I understand that this is not going to be the best approach for absolutely everyone, but for me, it has had a great positive impact on my life, and I'll likely continue this way until a change really needs to be made. Guys, is this something you'll consider doing, or are you already way ahead of me and you stopped using your smartphone like this a long time ago? There aren't only levels to this, but there's also very real reasons to stick with a centralized phone and to not do what I'm doing. There's a lot more convenience in just using this thing for literally everything, and sometimes it can be a cheaper option as well. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comment section. Be sure to hit like if you enjoyed today's content, and of course subscribe to never miss another upload on this channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Ryan Thomas, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.